A very good evening to all of you. I, Dr. Anu Sayal, Faculty of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, AI ML and Cybersecurity, extend a very warm welcome to you all to the Industry Connect session on endpoint security tools and its users. In order to provide an insight into the topic, we have with us Mr. Shyam Adamchari. Presently, he is working with Citrix as cybersecurity engineer. He has an extensive experience in incident management, antivirus admin, managing products like Semantic Endpoint Protection Manager, Power BI, Tanium, SCCM, Semantic Data Loss Prevention, Trend Micro Products, handling email security, encryption, firewalls, SIEM monitoring, etc. Now, I would like to request Mr. Sham Adamchari to deliver his speech and share his valuable experiences with us.
Hi, Hanu. Thanks for this wonderful link. Uh, you know, Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks for this introduction. So, do we have everyone here? Shall we start, or should we be waiting for some more time?
Sir, we can start, I think.
Okay, great. So let me present my screen. Okay, and just a small correction. Citrix was my previous experience, and right now I'm just working in Tata Communications as assistant manager. Just a correction there. I think probably you got it from LinkedIn, which is
Yes,
previous experience. Hello.
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, that's
I'm
okay.
really sorry for
So
that.
that's okay. Just to correct that. That's okay. So I have about 8 years of experience in domains of cybersecurity. I have done a few certifications like CH, AWS, and Safe Agile in the area of cybersecurity. So today we are here to discuss about different types of security tools that you would see in a organization. Like if you join any organization, like office, hospitals, wherever it is, any company that you join where you have large number of computers networked together. So there they have to ensure their cyber safety. So they have to ensure that their environment is safe and secure. So there are various types of tools that each companies use nowadays. So there it is called multiple layers of defense. It is ideally layers of defense. So it on different layers of network you have different security tools to be implemented, which will safeguard your environment from threats, attacks, vulnerabilities, and so on. So before we begin all those things, so the CIA triad, or the Venn diagram that you see here, is pretty much very important in area of cybersecurity. So these are the three things that you should keep in mind when you have cybersecurity in mind. So confidentiality, integrity, availability. So these are simple English words. Like confidentiality is nothing but you need to have your data kept secret. So it should not, like a company that handles credit card money transactions of its employees, or if it's a hospital, if it has important information, patient information, if it is say any type of company. So any type of company, for even schools or colleges, whatever, like your blood groups, your credit card or card informations, your parents name, your date of birth, all these things should be kept safe, and it should not be messed, or it should not be allowed to intervene with the wrong people. So that confidentiality is nothing but keeping things secret or confidential from unauthorized users. Integrity is nothing but making sure that the data you have is valid and it is not tampered with throughout its data life cycle. So data life cycle is nothing but a lifetime of data from the time it is created to the time it is destroyed, and made sure it is not revivable. So within the data life cycle, if we must ensure that it is consistent, accurate, and the data is not modified unless by unnecessary people or means. So that is integrity. And availability means even if you have a proper data, if it is not available to you in the right time. For example, I think many of you might have experienced this. When you have your results out, so when you have your exam results out, all of you all will be trying to log into one website and see your results. And I have experienced this. I'm not sure if you guys still are experiencing this, but at the time when the results get released, none of you are able to see. Only a few lucky ones get to see their results. So all the remaining people get stuck. So that is availability. So if your data is not available at the right moment, then it is as good as being useless. So here it is okay, you're just going to have a slight delay in seeing your data. But whereas in businesses, if you do not show those things on the right time, that can lead to penalties, that can lead to business loss, that can lead to reputation loss. So these are the three important factors when you consider, say, cybersecurity. And there are two types of team that in an organization. So I okay, just quickly seeing how many of you all here. We have 13 members. So yeah, you guys can stop me anytime. Just ping me if you have any questions. If you find that I'm going fast, or if you think anything is missing, you can just right away stop me and ask me. I know it's Saturday. I don't want to bore you guys. Try to be interactive. I think that would make it more fun and enjoyable. Just a small suggestion. Just think of me as your friend and just ask questions. If I know, I would respond. Otherwise, I would learn and make sure that you get that information. So you have two types of team. One is red team and one is blue team. This is generally it's just a gimmick. I mean, we call it red team and blue team in organizations. So red team are people who simulate attacks of external people, like penetration testers, white hat hackers. So these people belong to an organization or freelance and try to find out vulnerabilities and try to attack your own environment, but after notifying your the respective people, say the organization security team. So they notify that we are going to try this, we're going to find an vulnerability and attack it. And they will find it and attack and say that these are the holes or vulnerabilities in your you know uh, environment that we were able to exploit. So that is red team. So this is slightly more challenging and slightly an area where a lot more of technologies like Metasploit and things like that, penetration testing, you'll have to learn those things to be able to do these things. And blue teams are tools, basically tools, endpoint security tools that are maintained in an organization. A group of administrators handle it. Oh, just give me a minute. Okay. Yeah, so a group of administrators handle that, um, these kind of endpoint security tools, and they are basically called blue team. So they respond to incidents in those tools and ensure that either the threat doesn't take place, or they ensure that the threat doesn't do a lot of damage. So they make sure that we revive from the threat. So the I would say there are few more tools. At least I've worked on like 6 7 of these, but there are few more security tools, and it keeps increasing day by day nowadays. The number of tools, endpoint security tools that we have is huge. So I at least know another three more tools that I can add. So if I have time, I will probably explain them as well in the end, towards the end. Okay. So antivirus. So anyone knows how an antivirus functions? Any of you all? I wouldn't want to directly show my slide, but just does anyone know how an antivirus functions? Anyone? You can, if you are uncomfortable to unmute, you can just put it in the chat. I mean, what is the base idea of an antivirus? How it works? Does any of you know? Uh,
It has some sets of
okay,
rules.
that's a good thing. Yep. You're yeah, you're 70% there. It is not called rules, but you're right. So anyone else? Thanks, Deb. Thanks for that. I can call you Deb, right? Deb, or is it Kashyap? I think Kashyap should be better. Okay,
Dev, Dev
okay.
Malik.
So yeah, you are right. So endpoint security or antivirus basically has definitions. So it has patterns of files. So hash values or unique identifiers of each files. So it is like a dictionary. All the words that you put in your dictionary, you'll be able to find the meaning of it when you look into the dictionary. So antivirus is nothing but a dictionary of viruses, from where the tool will go through every one of your file and see if that file is there in its patterns. It is called patterns or definitions or signatures. So that is the technical term that they use. It's called patterns, signatures or definitions. So that's what they call it. So antivirus functions, the main feature of antivirus functions based on these things, whereas there are additional features nowadays. Antivirus are also getting improved, like they have behavioral monitoring, which will go through behavior of a pattern of behaviors and try to find if it is a virus. Though that these cases there are chances of false positive, but when it comes to traditional AV, it works on signatures or definitions. Like a dictionary, it will go through every file that you're accessing, that you have in your computer or that you're trying to transfer, and it will check with its definitions, and if it is there, then it will capture it and take appropriate action. So that is how an antivirus works. So the major companies, antivirus, it keeps changing like every 2 3 years. The market leaders change. I think Defender is a market leader now. Before, it was just used for endpoints that we use on home purpose, but right now Microsoft Defender, Trellix, earlier called as McAfee, Sophos, Symantec. So these are the corporate AVs that are more famous among organizations. So if you join an organization, you would see one of these in your computer. So that is there. So how antivirus in a corporate works, it is not that in your computer, if you go, you can just buy a CD and then install a local copy of antivirus and it will start working. But whereas in an organization, it is not like that. So none of the users will have control over their antivirus. The antivirus is generally controlled by a set of administrators, antivirus administrators or security professionals through this is one of the tools, is Symantec. But the architecture is very simpler. So it has a database where all the information is stored, and from that it has a manager, which is the manager console, where the administrators have policies to control who can do what, or who cannot do what. So you can restrict USB data, you can restrict files from being copied. Even these things can be done in antivirus. But basically it is like all the clients are installed with an agent which is connected to the manager, and the agent, you cannot go and disable the agent. Everything is only controllable to the manager or the manager console, that is the SEP console that you see here. And as you go down, these are the clients that you have. It can be Windows, Linux, Mac, or virtual machines are computers like PDIs, and embedded machines are thin clients, or like ATMs. These are called embedded systems. So all these clients are managed by the console, and this is just the SEPM console. And the SEPM console, the definitions are either transferred directly from the SEPM to the clients. Definitions, I mean pattern or signature. So it is like the frequency changes. So for semantics, say three definitions are released in a day. So patterns are released to the agents, and it keeps refreshing it. The dictionary gets updated every day, and it is able to, that is how it is able to find out even if there is a new virus that just released yesterday and if your computer is attacked today, you're updated. If you're not updated, then you are at risk, because it will not be able to catch that file and you'll be infected. Then you'll have to work on remediating, or finding cure for what has happened. So that is the basic architecture. Any doubts you have with the architecture? I know I'm going quick because we have a lot of tools, but if you have some doubt, you can stop me there. Okay. EDR, or endpoint detection and response, is a newer, I would say a higher variant of antivirus and SIEM combined together. So endpoint detection and response is useful. It is also an agent that is installed on all the clients, and this is used when a security incident has already happened. So what happens is, when an attack is taking place, what you can do is, this tool will help you take actions right away. You can go and track back, like say that where did this action initiate from, which user is logged into the machine, is it user created one, or is the action automatically happening on the background due to some worm or virus. So all those things you can analyze from the logs of this tool, and you can right away directly isolate the machine. You don't have to go and unplug your machine, put it in a separate network, apply firewall rules. All these things EDR will be able to take care by itself, wherein you just click button that says isolate machine, and it will isolate the entire machine from the network. So the more, I mean, I would say the important functions of EDR apart from that is like it gives you real-time alerts. Real-time is nothing but live, and the remediation is automatic, or you can set some responses, or you can also do it manually. The remediation of any types of attack, like isolate, like I said, isolating, wiping the device, or reimaging. Reimage is nothing but flashing and then reinstalling the OS. So you can also use those logs to see, do a forensic analysis of where the attack originated from, who was really responsible for bringing that particular file inside or letting that file in. So FireEye, Semantic EDR, CrowdStrike are kind of market leaders of EDR. Um, Data loss prevention. So okay. Data loss prevention. Can anyone? I think I see someone pinging. Okay. If I'm changing slides, it's not reflecting. Can you guys see what is the slide you're seeing now?
So now,
Data loss prevention.
yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. So that, yeah, that's the one I'm showing. Thanks, Deb. Thanks for that information. So does anyone know what is data loss prevention? Anyone? You can unmute and just talk. I mean, it's just no one is, I mean, a master of everything, so you can just guess. It is easy from the name itself. Anybody?
So preventing any data to from for loss or corruption.
Great, that is exactly correct. And you remember the first three things that I told that is very important in cybersecurity. Can you guess which are the areas that this tool will be helpful for? Just a guess. I mean, you remember those three things that I said?
Accessibility.
That's okay. So confidentiality, integrity, and availability, right? So this tool will help you achieve confidentiality and integrity. So even antivirus is used for both, but the confidentiality wherein you make sure that your information is not accessed by unauthorized people, and also integrity wherein the information is not damaged by anything else. So data loss prevention helps you achieve these two areas of the CIA triad. And you are right, it is just preventing the loss of data or private data from people who should not be seeing the data. So it can be anyone. So any your competitor should not be seeing it, outsiders should not be seeing your data. If you're a patient, even public shouldn't be knowing what types of medicine you take, so that can become risky. So these are the things that DLP will help capture. So the major requirement, business requirements in DLP is that there are business standards set by government. Though in India it is not that strict, I would say there are fewer laws in India. Like PCI, payment card industry standards are there, wherein any company that has credit card or a debit card information store, or they allowed you to do such things, so they have certain conditions or standards to be met. So all these are standards and conditions for different types of company. So we have fewer restrictions, wherein US, UK, if you go abroad, the restrictions are higher. So you will see so many rules that you have to comply, and that is how the environment gets more and more secure. If you implement it right way, it becomes very secure. So so the DLP is like, again, you have one, I'm not sure if I have the architecture here. Okay, so what happens is you have database. As usual, for any tool you will have a database, and you'll have a central management console from which its administrators will be able to manage the entire environment. So they'll be able to basically log in, block, apply policies to specific user groups. Like HR, it is a different policy. HR probably can have resumes of people. HR can have your pay slips. Can have like 10 different people's pay slips as well. HR can have it, but you should not be having a pay slips of all your colleagues, which is not correct. So pay slip is basically a confidential data. So like that, different people in an organization will have different rules. For example, in a college, you might not be able to allow might not be allowed into your teachers, I don't remember what they call it, your teachers room. So basically they have a separate they have a separate set of rooms where you're not allowed. So something similar to that. Only the right people will be able to access the information, and you'll be able to control that from the management console. So you can also run reports wherein you can see what people have downloaded sensitive information, who have tried to transfer, and you can take appropriate action using policies in the tool itself. So if I send some unwanted data to my private email address, it will stop that action and it will ask for a justification. The tool itself can do all these things, and I will have to say that why am I trying to transfer. I have to probably respond with a justification, and the tool will itself copy my manager, and from there the actions after that will be taken place. So the DLP will also help us to classify the types of data that we have: data at motion, data in at motion, data in at rest. So all cloud data. So all these types of things also can be safeguarded using DLP. um, yeah, I think okay. So the types of data, major types of data that you can use to safeguard using DLP is endpoint DLP, network DLP, storage DLP. So these are different areas of DLP, and it is the same agent that runs, but then the server or the detection server is different. So in the endpoint server it is used to capture like stored data, fax machine, printer machine. When you send something to your printer, it will analyze what you're sending. It will not allow you to send it to untrusted network. Say you're in your company, you're connected to your company network, it will not allow you to send it to someone other than your company's network. And USB CD, yeah, you'll not be able to write things to your USB. These are again like databases and servers usually used in companies. You will not be using these in probably in colleges. So after when you join organizations, you will see like file servers, databases, web servers. So these are storage areas, data at rest, and these are data at motion: email, webmail, instant messaging. FTP is nothing but copying something from your machine and pasting it. So file transfer protocol. So these areas are safeguarded by network DLP. So so all these DLP will be able to monitor and also take action on all these areas of data. Okay. Okay. That is one. Any questions with DLP? Anyone has any questions on DLP? And I hope my slides are visible now, right? When I change slides.
Yes, sir, that's visible.
Okay, great. So anyone else? Any questions? Any questions at all? You can shoot. I think only Deb's. Deb is asking questions. I don't see others asking questions. So you can ask questions if you have. I mean, don't feel shy. I mean, everybody's learning. It's okay to ask questions, and that is how others also learn. So if you have any questions at all, don't think that it is stupid, nothing like that. These are probably things that you're going to see in an organization when you join. So the more you question these things, you would probably have higher interest towards cybersecurity, and you can focus on one of the areas and try to get in there. So yep, let me go ahead. So probably if you have questions, you can stop me again. So yeah, firewall is a network security. It is a network layer security. It is another endpoint security tool. So there are different types of firewall. So you have agent installed, software based firewall where agents are installed in each machine, Hardware-based firewall is basically an appliance that is kept between your organization and the outside internet. So your ISP is probably some Act or Hathway, who, I mean, they have corporate connections as well. So your corporate connection is connected to your first it is connected to your perimeter firewall, and after which it goes outside to your outside network. So that is an hardware based appliance. So how a firewall works, does anyone have idea of how a firewall works? Like how antivirus works, firewall have a common methodology. So can anyone take a guess? I guess you guys are in IT, right? I think I saw computer science engineering. So you guys should be knowing something about firewall. Come on, guys.
So it filters the packets which whatever it receives.
Perfect. And that's again Deb, right? Yeah, I think now I recognize your voice. Okay, so correct. So it does whatever you're saying, correct, and it does that based on rules. So a firewall functions based on rules. So you have a set of rules, and say, I mean, default it has about 16, 17 rules, and the last rule is block everything. I mean, any firewall's last rule is generally block all other traffic and log. So basically, you allow whatever you want inside your network, that is mentioned in the first few rules or the first rules, because firewall rules work based on priority. So if you have something as the first rule, that takes the highest effect, and the second rule takes second it takes a lesser importance. So the first rule takes highest effect, and if you contradict your rules, the one that is above will take effect. You say allow something, allow, say, 192.168.1.1, and you have a block rule that stays block the same subnet, you'll not be able to access it because you have said block on top. So it works based on precedence. That's what you call it. The higher up the rule is more powerful, or you can say it is more important. So these rules are configured by the firewall admins or the network admins, who will allow what type of protocols they want to allow, what port numbers they want to allow for their client computers, uh, which area of computers can communicate with which area, what data can come into your network. So all these are filtered, like you said, the packet is filtered based on these rules, and only the wanted data is sent inside. Yeah, I mean, you start based on your detections and of other endpoint security tools, like your AV will say where this file comes from. So seeing all these things, you will be able to apply more rules to stricten your firewall. So that is how you harden your firewall, which is called hardening of firewall. Okay, you have cloud hosted firewall also, that is completely a SaaS based solution, which is software as a service from cloud. So endpoint encryption, this is another security tool. So all these tools, I mean, they are trying to merge multiple tools together nowadays. One solution is trying to bring multiple uses, but right now, if you go to a corporate, you will see these many tools in your endpoint. So every computer will have an encryption software, where when you might have seen some of your parents who are working in IT, or if you have your brothers, as soon as they log into their, I mean, they switch on their machine, they have a pre-boot password, and after which they will be asking for a another password, which is a password that you entered with your username, like Shyam for me, or Dev, whatever it is. So and so on. The endpoint encryption is a tool that is used to encrypt the data in your computer. So not only in your computer, and encrypt, using encrypt algorithms, it will protect files stored on an endpoint, or it can be a server. So it is basically to encrypt your files. So what is the need of encryption? Anyone wants to take that up, I mean, take that answer? What will happen if you don't have encryption? Let me go back.
For confidentiality.
Correct. And can you give me an example somewhere, like anything that you can think of? You're right, I mean, your answer
Important
was right.
documents,
I'm asking you if you can give a real life example, because people will also quickly understand when you give an example.
encrypting sensitive informations like office details,
Correct.
personal details.
Perfect. So you have your office laptop or you have your mobile phone. I mean, I think mobile phone should be a better example because I know every one of you will be having it probably browsing through when I'm taking this session as well. Some of you might be seeing some videos as well. So yeah. So you have your mobile, right? So if you lose your mobile, there are two things that you lose there. One, the cost of mobile that is gone. Nowadays, even people are okay with that. But what is more worrying? Can any of you say? So if you lose your mobile, what is more worrying in that case? More than your mobile being lost, what is the other thing that worries you the most?
My personal information and my bank details.
Correct. Your personal information, your bank details, your friends numbers, your private chats, everything that you have is your personal information. So if you have encryption is nothing but like you have your pin passcode, right? Password is also a form of encryption. So only when you apply that password, that is the key here, the user is able to view that. So if you enter the password wrong 5 6 times, there are policies that can say wipe off your entire phone. So this is usually applied when you have a corporate phone. You can do this in your private phone as well, but you have to configure that. But usually you have a password. You can also reset and use it. Reset is okay. Still, your data is safe. When someone does a hard reset, they restore. I mean, they clean all the data and only then they are able to use it. So at least you are not at risk of losing your data or your data falling into wrong hands. So encryption is that tool, that is agent that is installed on computers, laptops. It is more important on laptops, organizational laptops. When people take it to home and if they lose it, it can be more serious in terms of companies, right? If a VIP in a computer a company, a stakeholder, or say a CEO loses his computer, and if his data is accessible by someone outside or a competitor, they can go and leak important information, or they can leak the plans of their company. They can know a lot of things that can damage their reputation, that can cause business loss, that can cause a lot of things. So this is the importance of encryption. So that is why what they do is all the laptops and all data in your computer or data whatever you have is basically encrypted, and encryption is the tool that is used there. Okay. Okay, I was quick. So, I mean, it also is used to, I mean, regulatory compliances are also there, that if you have this, you have to have encrypted data. Otherwise, you'll not be able to access things. And those are this is the architecture of encryption. So basically, all the clients' computers are connected to the management server. This is the encryption server, and the database has the information like what is the key each client is having, what is the password they're having, what is like there are like important questions that you can answer to get your password. There is also another team that sits in corporates. You can get a challenge key in case you forget your password. You're not able to reset it. There will be another team which has another console access where they can reset your password to a common password and give it to you so that you can use it and then reset again. So that is what they do in a corporate. So encryption is nothing but I mean, there are types of encryption. I'm not sure if I've put that in here. Symmetric key encryption and asymmetric key encryption. Symmetric key is nothing but you have one key. So when I give the uh, data, I lock it and then give the data, and the same key is used to unlock the data. So that is symmetric key encryption. Asymmetric key, you have two types of key in asymmetric key. You have public key and private key. The public key is same and the private key is different. So the user and I mean, you should have both the private and public key. So that is asymmetric and symmetric encryption. And advantages again central administration in encryption is that once you lose your laptop, you just have to call your organization and say that my laptop is lost. Uh, they will uh, they will issue a kill, lock, or reset device, which will basically anytime it comes into communication, it will totally reset or kill that device. Kill it will make it unusable as well. So that is also possible in terms of encryption. So you can apply policies, protect data that you want to, what types of data that you want to. You can control the password length, apply policy for password, like it should not be EC, it should not be your name. Those kind of policies can be enforced in the central administration of encryption. um, Number of failed passwords, for number of failed password, what action you want the computer to take. You can also pull reports in from that centralized management console for encryption. So these are the things that you can do with respect to encryption there. So any questions for encryption? Okay, I think encryption is pretty simple. I think so you guys should have got it. So SIEM is nothing but security information and event management. So this is a tool that is integrated with all the other security tools to get logs. So logs are nothing but any action that you do in your computer is stored in notepads or notepad kind of files as logs. So all the action that your computer does, like if you install a software, there is a log that is running on the background recording what's happening. So sometimes you might have to enable few things to log it, otherwise it is basically logging everything. These kind of logs are sent to a central console, which is security information and event management. This tool is also used to collect, aggregate, analyze the data that you have. You can backtrack from where the like an EDR solution, but this doesn't do any action. So it is one place where all the tools are integrated to see one area. It can also send it to the an email to the user saying that this is being attacked or this is being happening. It will automatically do those things, but nothing, it will not take any action, like it will not block, because it is just a log collection and informing tool. So the market leaders of SIM are Splunk, QRadar, Logarithm. These are like market leaders of SIM. So you have vulnerability management. Any idea what is vulnerability management? Any of you guys have seen these teams or any tools of vulnerability management? It is definitely happening even in your computer lab or laboratory. So vulnerability management is done. So basically, vulnerability management is nothing but keeping your patches up to date, ensuring that there are no vulnerabilities for outsiders to attack. So this is a separate team. They don't usually, the vulnerability team and the people who work on the security teams are separated, because you don't want the one who finds the fault to be the one who fixes it, right? So basically, vulnerability management is the person who finds the fault, and I mean, they have separate tools, agents installed on each computer. Usually tools like Qualys, Nessus. These agents are there. You can scan your entire network, and after scanning, it will let you know which computers are vulnerable for which types of vulnerabilities. So you'll be able to identify the vulnerabilities of servers, computers, whatever it is, whatever technology it is. You can, after you get those information, you can evaluate all those information, and treating is nothing but you act on that, like your patching, right? Your Windows patches that you get on a monthly basis. So that is one kind of vulnerability management. So it is released for, because it has some flaws. So Chrome, if you see, right, almost your Chrome gets, Google Chrome gets updated once, I think, almost once in a week or once in 2 weeks. So that is how frequent there are vulnerabilities seen in Chrome. So all applications get an upgrade usually because they have some kind of flaws that they have found, or it can be an enhancement as well. But usually the patches, security patches, is always for vulnerabilities, and that is something that you should, your in all organization, they make sure that all the computers are patches, and patches are up to date. Vulnerabilities are not there in all the computers. So the vulnerability management team is basically responsible for ensuring that all these softwares are patched and being up to date. The software patches are applied on time. All these kinds of things. If it is not applied, it should be separated. It should have only limited access. If you still have a Windows XP machine, that itself is a risk. So that XP machine should not communicate to entire network. That can become risky because XP machines do not have a lot of features that are needed nowadays. So these kind of things, the vulnerability management team will analyze and let the appropriate teams know that, see, this data needs to be encrypted, this file, the policy is not applied properly, and these kind of things, this software is not up to date. So these information will be processed and given as reports. So and so they will assess is nothing but scan, identify what are the assets and create a report. They will send it to this team. The team will prioritize which, because everything cannot be fixed. So any organization you go, you will always have some sort of things that you will be trying to fix. I've worked in about 6 organizations, but I've never seen any organization that is completely secure. It is highly unlikely that you will see an organization that is completely secure. So you will have always something to prioritize. You will prioritize in that. You will work on the highest vulnerability, I mean the vulnerability that has highest risk, and then you will act on it. Basically you will patch it, you will isolate the environment, or you will control the access to that machine, and then you will again assess it to see what other vulnerabilities are there. So you keep improving and doing this again and again. It becomes stronger and stronger, and that is how vulnerability management team helps. So I think okay, I'm almost there. I think it should be the last slide. After this, we can have your questions, and I think I can give you a couple of other tools as well. So, email security is another tool which is again installed in your email gateway. I mean, it is probably linked with your email gateway in an organization. So, any emails that you send, there is no person going through the information and seeing what is there, what is not there. So, there are again rules based on who is the sender, what is the domain of the sender, is this domain valid, does the attachment have any kind of virus. So all these things are gone through. How many hops has the email gone through, and how many users has it been sent to. So it will analyze all these things, and then based on that it will either categorize it as malware, spam, phishing attack, or it will give it to the appropriate person inside the organization. So email security is basically used for ensuring that your email communication is safe, your email protocol is maintained safely. So these I think these are the major tools, endpoint security tools that you will find in a corporate. So I mean, I have given like hands-on for each tools, but since this time I want to give a centralized picture of what are kinds of tools that you will see in an organization. That's why I think I went through one by one. So there are also additional tool like the one thing called network access control. So network access control is nothing but it is like a set of conditions that your computer has to go through before it is allowed to connect your corporate or even your if it is your college, it should satisfy those conditions before it is allowed to inside your college network. So it will say that all the patches of this month should be applied, all your endpoint like antivirus should be up to date, your firewall should be up and running, it should be functioning, it should not be down. So all these kinds of rules can be set, and that is network access control. So control people's access over the network. So only when these conditions are met, then it is allowed to basically go in and communicate to the network. So that is these are all the tools that are there in endpoint security. So does anyone have any questions? I mean, I was expecting questions, and I'm not sure if someone has pinged. Okay, that's a survey link. I mean, any of you have any questions for regarding any kinds of tools, any kinds of security tools? If I know, I would answer. I mean, if it is from the presentation, I think probably easier. But if it's anything else, also you can feel free to ask, because I think we have 10-15 minutes. I thought I'd be stopped and ask questions. Any questions, guys? Nothing. I'm surprised. So I think I went through about 8-9 security tools. Deb came up with like a couple of answers and questions. So anyone else? No questions at all? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Um, like yes, Satto, yeah, yes, sir. So yeah, I'm audible. So any questions at all from the tools that you saw? So I let me go through the tools again. If you don't remember the name of the tools, anything that you would like to ask, why that tool is used for, examples, or anything else that you would like to ask. Guys, that's a very silent group today.
Students, if you have any questions, you may interact
Yep.
and clear off your doubts.
Yeah, feel free to interact, guys. I mean, I know it's Saturday evening, but still.
Sir, I think you've explained in such a wonderful way that everything is clear to them. In
That's
fact, I'm
great.
not from CSE background, but still the things are clear to me. So,
Okay.
uh,
That's nice of you. But yep, feel free to ask questions. I mean, I believe that a session is more interactive. It becomes interesting. So, um, if you guys can ask questions, you can also put it in an email. I mean, I think you have my LinkedIn. If you have any questions related to your career with cybersecurity, how you want to begin, how you can enter cybersecurity, if you have interest in that area, you can, you can also ask me that. Probably I'll be able to guide you on these aspects as well, anything that I can, and any doubts with respect to anything that you have, even in today's session or anything cybersecurity, if I know, I would definitely help you. Otherwise, probably I'll get help, or get people who are in that respective area. So I think that's all I have to today. I was expecting more questions, but fine. I think if you guys are happy, then fine. LinkedIn profile. Just a minute. Was that shared, Anu? I'm not sure if my LinkedIn profile was shared in that.
yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, just give me a minute. I'm just stopping my presentation. I hope that's okay.
So, if you want, I can share the link here.
Yep, yep, sure. Go ahead. Anyone
Uh,
can ping me in LinkedIn for any questions as well. No worries. I mean, to be honest, cybersecurity is a very interesting area, and it's an area that pays you a lot of money as well. That is one important thing probably you guys should know. So it is one area that pays you a lot of money in terms of career. So if you want to set your career there, there are a lot of ways to start. So I mean, by the time you end your college, if you are skillful in these areas, it will help you get a quicker entry into cybersecurity. I was actually I'm a person from a totally different background. I did my aeronautical engineering. I somehow ended up having interest in cybersecurity, and that's how I'm here. So probably you guys are much more lucky, because you guys would probably be more technical by the time you're out of your college itself. So yeah, feel free to ask questions. I think that's all I have today, and she has my LinkedIn profile there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir, for sharing this wonderful information with us. It was actually a treat for the year to have been listening to you today. The session was actually interactive, and I think the doubts of the students must have been clarified. And with this, we come to an end of the wonderful session. I, on behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Jain Dean to be University and all the students, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, powered by Futurance Technologies, for providing us with this opportunity to conduct Industry Connect sessions on every Saturdays. Also, I must mention our sincere thanks to our head of the department, Dr. V. Vivek, for providing an encouragement and enormous cooperation for making this event a success. I would like to extend a special thanks to our guest for the evening, Mr. Sham Adamshare, for the thought provoking session that has inspired not only our students but all of us present here. I acknowledge my gratitude to all the faculty members and the lovely students who contributed to the success of the event. Once again, I would like to thank you all for being with us this evening. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anu. That was a wonderful session as well for me, and thanks for Jain University giving me this opportunity as well to interact with today's engineers. It was wonderful talking to you all. Next time, if it's a bit more interactive, I'd probably enjoy it more. Yep. Have a nice weekend, guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir.